Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. Game 2, Moscow 5 versus BBC SLTV ProSeries Season 11. We are HeflaTV. I am MRP_Dota, joined by Mike Loris. Game 1, you guys got a treat. Weehaw Meeple wrecking house alongside Padrino's Broodmother, so probably will see at least one of those heroes banned. You'll see Moscow 5 take out the Broodmother in the first phase. Mike, what do Moscow 5 need to do in this game aside from banning some signature heroes to come back and take this to a deciding game 3?
It's really hard to say because Moscow 5, they had a real draft, but they actually didn't play a real game. Like, there are games where like you sometimes have a fighting chance, but that one was just everywhere they went, every single lane assignment, everything just fell apart so very quickly. They couldn't get anything going, so they had no chance to show off what they could do. Like you said, Slander generally does play a pretty good Tidehunter. We saw him struggling in lane, like he gave first blood, I believe. So like even that wasn't going according to plan. So they just need to, I think, maybe play a regular game now that Meepo and Broodmother are banned out. That seems to be a possibility for them to actually play a real game now.
Yeah, they will pick up the Slark in the first phase for BBC, so probably be Patrino on that. He's pretty damn good on this hero as well. We will see the Broodmother Meepo bands come out from M5.Int here, so I'm sure BBC has some strategies prepared for this because it probably happens pretty darn often, if not every game for them. So M5 going to respond with a 1-2 here. Vengeful Brewmaster bands come out from BBC. Just two very strong heroes in general, and the Brew, very good team fight presence. The Vengeful Spirit, good for taking Roshan, for pushing down waves, of course offers the disable and the positioning from the nether swap. So all things considered is a jack of all trades and a very effective hero. We'll see the Witch Doctor picked up first here, presumably for PGG again for Moscow 5. He plays this hero pretty often. We'll see what they end up coupling this with.
Yeah, they have options, of course. Tidehunter as the pick could be a reasonable opening as well. It's usually hard to recommend a team go for the exact same opening that they just lost with, but this game is just so different because Brood and Meepo are going to be banned out, so I wouldn't mind seeing Tidehunter being picked up by Moscow 5 and just trying to play the last draft a little bit more how it should have been played, or at least assuming BBC wouldn't just completely wreck it. So a Tidehunter as a pick here would be reasonable, or just go for the screen special. That's something I am always okay with seeing. That's the signature hero of Moscow 5 International. They give the Tusk the screen, and sometimes it does pretty well, sometimes it doesn't do anything, but hopefully this is going to be one of those times where it does perform well because everyone loves to see Tusk.
Yeah, Screens Tusk banned out pretty much as often as some of these more highly coveted heroes from BBC as well. So I don't really get to see this slip through all that often, and they do run it with the Witch Doctor fairly often. He's very proficient on this hero, as you mentioned, and I love to see some of those plays. We'll see what they couple it with. Usually they roam from the defensive try with these two. Often don't go too aggressive because if they spoil that, I mean, Tusk doesn't scale extremely well into the late game, and the Witch Doctor probably scales a little bit better out of the support role. So definitely will see them come out of the defensive try to make something happen, perhaps mid or on the off lane. Or BBC going to respond with a Massacre Timber Saw here. So definitely a hero that is a little bit escapable from the Witch Doctor and the Tusk. If the cask bounces nicely, perhaps can cancel that Timber chain, but other than that, they don't have too much the Timber can't get away from, and gonna stick with the theme of elusiveness with the Slark Timber 1-2.
And right now, Moscow 5, they need stuns, and as many stuns as they could get. Witch Doctor stun is a start, but Tusk certainly, with his Snowball, definitely not the best tool as far as keeping up with Timber Saw. Walrus Punch is mediocre at best, so usually you want your stuns to be coming out from your support heroes, but Moscow 5 already have both their support heroes, so obviously that's not a possibility for them going down the line. I mean, they have to pick up some crowd control effects, and we'll see what they can actually pick up. But we see the Doom being banned out from BBC, so they're going to, as best they can, protect the mobility of the Timber Saw and Slark, as Doom is pretty much the brick wall that Timber Saw and Slark both tend to run into quite a bit. Night Stalker, not as much so, although Crippling Fear does tend to get the job done when it needs to.
Yeah, Crippling Fear serving the same purpose as an Orchid most often against the Timbersaw is pretty darn good, especially at night against him. Even the Void has a mini stun that can interrupt the Timber Chain. So Night Stalker, definitely a wise ban from BBC. Not sure if it's something that Moscow 5 runs too often. I certainly haven't seen them running any Night Stalker anytime recently on Necroman, and perhaps ran it in the mid lane. But either way, ZXC not here for this one. Glorious Warriors standing in for him. Dazzle ban does come out from Moscow 5, so despite no Meepo being here for BBC, they still don't want to see that hero. They do rely on a little bit of sustain over time damage with this Tusk Witch Doctor combo. Only burst really coming out from them is from the Walrus Punch, so they will take away the Shallow Grave from BBC. Definitely would be good with both the Dazzle, or both the Slark and Timber.
Right, and I think right now for Moscow 5, what they should be looking to pick up is probably the Void, not banned out or anything like that, and it's a great partner with Witch Doctor. It is a core hero that actually offers some form of crowd control. Templar Assassin being the ban out, maybe protecting their mid lane selection right now, although it is very possible for BBC to just throw a Slark mid, or even throw the Timbersaw mid if they really want to. Puck as the pickup does make a little bit more sense that Templar Assassin ban out now. Still, it is a hero that is able to, at a certain degree, control up the Slark and the Timbersaw. Blink Silence is a great way at surprising the Slark, and he usually can't pack out of that unless he is amazingly on point, or if he sees you coming. Either way, he will be safe, but if you catch him by surprise, and that's very easy to do, then a Blink Silence into a Snowball in, or a Cask or something like that, it probably represents your best bet at killing off a Slark.
Yeah, definitely. So TA very hard to kill for a Puck in the mid lane. Isn't the greatest in terms of kill potential on the Puck, but will find her farm. So that ban certainly explained through the pickup of the Puck there. It'll offer them quite a bit of control, as you mentioned. The Coil will be nice versus the Timbersaw. Dark Pack versus Slark, very good thus far versus the opening for Moscow 5. Unfortunately for them, they are going to need a little bit more reliable disable, perhaps throughout the remainder of their draft, in order to lock that Slark down. Perhaps we see the first support here from BBC in the Earthshaker. It's actually a hero I would have liked to see on the side of Moscow 5, and kind of was expecting it after the TA ban in the mid, but Shaker going to be picked up for BBC here. It'll be interesting to see if Piladai ends up playing that. Moscow 5 going to pick a Lycan into the Echo Slam, so interesting choice from them.
Yeah, it's got to worry about those wolves, got to worry about those necro units that are, I would suppose, are going to come out a little bit down the line. But Lycan right now is just another hero that is going to demand crowd control response from the BBC side. Shaker going to provide some of that action both towards the Lycan and the Puck with the slew of stuns that the Earthshaker does have. But outside of that, they're kind of light on their crowd control. Burst damage from Timbersaw certainly can get the job done occasionally, but not all the time, depending on the positioning and the levels of the hero. So Lycan is a reasonable pick here for Moscow 5. It's not going to be the all-in pushing type of Lycan that we normally see, though it is not impossible to see Moscow 5 last pick a Jakiro. It might be the case, but it doesn't seem like that's incredibly too likely. At least they're not going all in on that, so they have some options down the line. Just having a Lycan as a carry hero is sometimes all you need. Of course, he does offer you that early game push. Whether or not they want to abuse that is another factor entirely. BBC, they're going to grab enough stuns to last a lifetime. Now with the Impale and the Hex, and of course Shaker, they're good to go.
Definitely something that you mentioned they were lacking in their lineup, and they'll look to rectify those issues pretty quickly with the Lion. They're going to have to round this out with a solid mid laner up against the Puck here. It'll be interesting to see what they choose. The Skywrath is still in the pool. I really like the Ancient Seal up against the Puck. Concussive Shot, pretty much negligible against the Lycan, however, but they do have some disable in the Echo Slam Fisher, as well as the Lion's Toolkit to deal with this Lycan thus far. Echo Slam also pretty powerful versus him. Necroman often builds straight into the Necro books after Vlad's, but we'll see if he opts for that here in this game. He is a pretty darn good Lycan player. I've seen him be very disciplined on his Lycan, often doesn't feed over any costly death, so we'll see if he's able to do that up against a very dangerous and aggressive BBC squad here. Roaming combo, Lion, Earthshaker, pretty potent. They are not the best at harassing in lane, however, and we will see Moscow 5 opt for the Pugna here, so perhaps a little bit of Nether Ward love for the Lion and the Earthshaker.
So it is going to be Moscow 5 investing very deeply into the pushing, a lot more so than I really would have thought. It's going to be the second Pugna of the day. First one fell flat on its face. I personally would have liked to see the Jakiro a little bit more. Pugna does get the chip damage in a lot it's a lot more impactful. It's a lot faster as far as how you can push, but I don't really know if they're going to be in a huge rush to get that pushing done. Regardless, Pugna is, as you said, a good counter versus the Lion Shaker with that Nether Ward. To a lesser extent, the Timbersaw, it tends to add up, in a Bloodseeker. Wow. Okay. I have no idea. This is the first Bloodseeker I've seen, so I don't know.
It's very, very good against Pugna. Pugna, not the most mobile hero. The Bloodright pretty much lands every time. He's too low of a base HP pool to try and run out if you overlap that with the Rupture. And Rupture pretty good against Lycan as well. He moves extremely quickly, so just in the time that you would need to hold position or stop, you would take quite a bit of damage from the Rupture. It's going to be a Weehaw Bloodseeker here, guys, so we'll see how well this does. Unfortunately, used to be a very good counter versus Puck with that target silence of the Blood Rage, but no longer is the case with that mechanic. We'll have to land a Bloodright, so Puck should have a fairly good time, but it looks like he'll take to the off lane for Slander, and we will see the Pugna in the mid go the way of Glorious Warrior.
This is going to be very, very interesting from BBC. First time I've seen the Bloodseeker in a game that I have casted, and we'll see if it actually turns out well for the BBC side. It is possible, though, with the defensive capabilities of the Tusk, with Slander being able to just dodge, that they just completely bypass everything. And Snowball is a ridiculous defensive skill in certain situations. And I think versus Bloodseeker, that would count as one of those situations. So right now, it's going to start out with Moscow 5 smoking up towards top. Let's very quickly go over who's playing what. Screen is on a signature Tusk, Slander on the Puck, PG is on the Witch Doctor once again, Glorious Warrior on the Pugna, and over towards mid, it's going to be Necroman on the Lycan. But up towards top, they are going to look for a Snowball in. Padrino is going to leap away, but it's not going to get him nearly far enough. Blast is going to follow through with the cast. Padrino is going to die. First blood being drawn by Glorious Warrior's Pugna.
And it's so unsportsmanlike. The only player in the game to say GLHF feeds over first blood. Either way, rounding out the lineup for BBC, Yapzor going to pick up the Earthshaker. Pylai Die, picking up a hero he's very comfortable with in this defensive try, alongside Padrino's Slark. Weehaw in the mid on the Bloodseeker, and Massacre rounding out the lineup with the off-lane Timbersaw.
You see a very aggressive movement from Moscow 5 into the enemy jungle. I'm not really sure if they're expecting to find anyone there, but they're posted up, and they are probably, I mean, it's usually a safe assumption for, if you're BBC looking at the top lane, to say, okay, they're probably just blocking the creep wave. They're going to be here eventually, or they're grabbing the Observer Ward, okay, or the Bounty Rune, rather. Observer Ward is going to spot them out, so I thought they were going to camp out in mid and try to make a jump on this Bloodseeker, which would have been amazingly aggressive and something I'd love to see coming out from the Tusk, but instead, it's just going to be them returning back to their top lane. And, well, Pylai Die is going to run to PGG right now. There is a Hex, and it will be casted. Fissure available, and it's guaranteed to land. PGG getting a little bit too far ahead of himself to ward, and he will go down. And that Observer Ward was so blatantly clear. Is there a sentry here? There's unfortunately no sentries for BBC, so this ward will stick for now. So, Observer Ward for your life, probably not worth it for the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, they'll trade one over and even it back up for BBC. Nice scout out there from Pylai Die. Good leap as well, or pounce I should say, from Padrino in the mid. Necroman posturing up pretty aggressively onto Weehaw. He's spent that first point in the Blood Rage, so we'll look for some lane stability with the lifesteal offered from that. Screen has picked up his level 2 already off the back of that first blood, has shards and the snowball. They're going to build this aggressive try around Glorious Warrior's Pugna. Howl is going to be popped just for some last hitting mid, and no aggression going to be queued off of the back of that. 1v1 matchup, bottom Slander versus Timbersaw. Maybe slight edge to the Puck here, but Timber should be just fine to find his farm. Top lane shards are going to go out. Snowball is going to be channeled up. They're going to bring everyone in this, and this is super aggressive onto Padrino. The Fissure is there onto 3. Hex out from Pylai Die onto the Glorious Warrior. Padrino is a little bit low. Pounce not available. He'll salve around the corner though. Nether Blast not going to hit him. Glorious Warrior going to fall to the tower. Screen falls as well to a right click from Pylai Die, and they'll get the pounce onto PGG. Not sure what Moscow 5.Int was looking to accomplish with that very deep dive, and they feed over their entire aggressive tri lane to BBC.
Tusk would be such a better hero if you could cancel that snowball, man. I mean, they cast it on Padrino, and they're like, well, shit, do we go in and die with the Tusk, or do we just YOLO it and try to kill off the Slark and then get out with everyone? They made the wrong decision. Yapzor was in the perfect position in the trees, ready for the snowball to land with that Fissure, and it could have been even better for BBC if Lion was already at level 2. That Earth Spike, though it is only level 1, was guaranteed to hit 3 people as well, and Padrino barely getting out of there with his life. Turning around, BBC get 3 kills in response up on this top lane, and Moscow 5, they just don't do that. Don't dive the tier 1 tower. That's a bad idea, especially up against an Earthshaker. That's pretty much Shaker's job 90% of the games he's in, to make sure that that doesn't happen. So Moscow 5, they play this lane a lot slower. If they just try to get levels on Glorious Warrior, try to get chip damage on this tower, then he'll be a lot happier. They're going to feel inclined to dive onto someone like Yapzor, but not onto Padrino. That's just a little bit too difficult, knowing there's a Fissure in backup and an Impale.
Yeah, we doing very comfortably mid. He's sitting on 13 CS to the 13 as well of Necroman. He's brought over his PMS and his boots, so he will be able to put a little bit more harass into Necroman than vice versa, as he's got the movement speed advantage. Necroman's brought over his bottle hover, so he will be able to find some rune control and as well as last hitting with those level 2 wolves. Slander going to throw out an illusory orb bottom. Massacre going to be just fine for the time being. They both have boots in this lane. Looks like Slander building into an early set of phase boots for that extra right click harass into the Timbersaw.
Just being a ranged hero up against a melee, phase boots do help quite a bit, and though Mascari is working with 2 points of reactive armor plus 8 with a lot of regen to boot, he is slowly but surely losing his regeneration through his tangos, and he's eventually not going to have anything else. His ability to kill Slander is certainly there, though it is pretty difficult. A lot easier now that Puck has no more mana, but Mascari just wants levels out of this lane. Chakram represents probably the largest jump in Timbersaw's power, and then down the line, Aghanim's have for double Chakram. But for right now, he's fine with what is going on until Pile Die comes in. Hex is really all you need to set up a kill onto Puck, especially when he still doesn't have mana for Illusory Orb. This could be really bad for the Puck. Assuming Mascari doesn't blow this by playing too aggressively, because Pile Die is in the perfect position. He just has to, the Timbersaw, make sure Slander doesn't see this one coming. Smoke is going to dry up, and Slander is going to get hexed. He's in a pretty good position to dodge damage, but he will get hit with the Timber Chain and the Impale regardless. Orb is finally up. Just got enough mana. Another Timber Chain through, though, and it will be the Puck's death regardless. Just barely had enough mana to cast that Orb, but it still wasn't even enough.
Well shot by Massacre there. They'll cue the aggression top lane, knowing that Pilot Eye is not here, but Padrino, posturing up fairly defensively, will get back underneath his tower. He's going to get caught with shards here, though, and they're not going to channel up the snowball to go in on him. So well played by BBC, knowing their awareness here. The snowball is going to be channeled up with 2. Glorious Warrior not quite there, late to the party. They won't be able to get out a stun onto Padrino. The Fissure block is going to be there. Jump in from Padrino is a bit early. He'll get the Dark Pact off, and he will be able to bring down, with the help of Massacre, 2. And that's PGG as well as Screen. Glorious Warrior next to fall, but he will bring down Padrino with him. Double kill going the way of the Timbersaw. Still, big win overall for BBC. And in the mid, Weehaw looks to have zoned out Necroman, who had to base here. Weehaw finding some good farm, 34 CS, topping the board on his Bloodseeker. Has found the Rupture at level 6, and that's presumably what made Necroman be.
Right. Kind of sad that I missed the Rupture play, but that's, once again, the reason for Moscow 5 to not dive the top lane. They knew that the line was out. They knew that Pile Die was on the bottom lane, messing with the Puck. They don't know where the Shaker is, and that's really the dangerous hero. Like, Lion's great at killing off one guy. It's what Hex is really good at. Impale is capable of hitting more than one person, but really it's generally used just for 1, maybe 2 heroes. Shaker with the Fissure, that was just, once the Fissure came up, or once Moscow 5 were this far behind the tier 1 tower, and Earthshaker was behind the trees, just like he was last time, it was all over for Moscow 5. They put themselves in a position where they could either fight and die, or try to run through a tier 1 tower and most likely die. And then, well, there are no good options there, so pick your poison. And, well, pick poison they certainly did. They're going to try to go for a top lane push with the help of the Nether Blast. Here comes Mascari, though, missing most of his skills on Glorious Warrior, and the heal from the Witch Doctor will keep everyone up alive. Mascari will get himself out to safety, though. This tower is not going to be destroyed without a significant fight from BBC. They just need one more hero here, but it's going to be actually Necromancer reinforced for Moscow 5. Level 6 Lycan, not the most terrifying hero in the game, but he is capable of putting some serious damage if he's going to come in for a surprise. But Glorious Warrior going to get hexed up immediately in the Chakram he goes. He's going to take a sit down, and now Screen. He's going to, first of all, dodge the Enchant Totem, which is pretty nice with the Snowball. Stun Mascari as well. Chakram's out. Screen might die anyway, and he will. Mascari will get pawed down by Necroman in response. They get a 2-for-1 up towards the top. Here comes the Bloodseeker, though. Let's see that Rupture. He wants blood, most likely on the Wolf. Instant TP out, though. We can't really do that much except lay down the circle for PGG, which will connect. Yapzor doesn't have enough mana for a Fissure, but it doesn't matter because Weehaw has more than enough damage to kill off the Witch Doctor. Didn't get the target he really wanted. but he got a kill regardless, and the top lane tower still survives.
Yeah, unfortunately, no rotation in from Slander for M5.Int. He had the TP ready, but just willing to stay bot lane and find his farm. Eventually will be able to get up that Blink Dagger, but only 500 gold in addition to his phase boots sitting on him. Looking to pick up a full magic wand here as they've given Padrino some space to farm 1v1 bottom, but still very big win for BBC. As soon as Necroman rotates around behind their tower, they actually sound the engagement, so a little bit of fortunate timing for them going in on that one. And Weeha's going to run into Glorious Warrior in the river. No Rupture available at the moment, though. And he probably will not aggress too much further as there is a Fissure from the high ground once again, blocking off the Pugna here. Well shot by the Earthshaker, but the Snowball bringing him in defensively. And there's the Illusory Orb as well. Weeha getting a little too greedy. He will be able to get away with the Thirst movement speed, though. Big Timber Chain from Massacre. He'll bring down one. That's the Puck. Pilot Eye draining the mana of Necroman. Chakram goes out. Timber Chain, Whirling Death. He'll bring down the Pugga. Another Fissure from the high ground. Massacre's got one more chain. He will go to the high ground. It will not hit, though, on PGG. He will survive for the time being, however, and still a 2-for-1 going their way. Actually, Pilot Eye gets finished off, though, by a Necroman, and still 2-for-1.
Yeah, Pilot Eye was actually the only one to survive there in Moscow 5. The downside of Snowball, we've seen it now for the third time. They jump in with into the Snowball, they roll forward, and then they get hit with a 4-man spike from the Lion, and there's not much you can do about that just because you are inherently so clumped up. The Earthshaker has his Echo Slam, so he could also do a very similar thing next time that happens. Top lane push from Moscow 5. It didn't work the first time, nor the second time. Maybe it'll work third with Pilot Eye stuck in the corner. He has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He's going to fall. Yapzor is the only one here. Has enough mana for it. Ultimately, that's about it. Tower's already dead, and Yapzor has to consider getting the hell out of here because there's a Snowball ready. Screen, if he gets into range for casting it, Shards are going to catch Yapzor, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Snowball, only one person, but Yapzor going to turn around for a vision, won't even get it out because of that Snowball stun. Mass carry a little bit too late. That's going to be a tower and 2 kills for Moscow 5 International. Maybe not for free, though. Padrino, he's looking to push down the bottom lane, as is we over towards mid, so Moscow 5, they get the tower that they really wanted, but it's 9 minutes in. It's the first tower destruction. It's pretty slow for a Pugna Lycan.
Yeah, definitely not what their draft wanted to accomplish by this point. Either way, Glorious Warrior starting to find some steam. 1,200 gold on him. Perhaps he builds right into some Necro books of his own. He's already got a Belt of Giant Strength, or he just finishes off those treads at this point. Pilot Eye going to place down some nice defensive vision. Fissure is going to hit from range. There's an Earth Spike here, but not quite in range to grab up the Pugma. It does hit him on the periphery. Finger of Death is there despite the Nether Ward being down. Pilot Eye finding a kill. 3, 2, and 9 is his KDA. Padrino and Weeha are going to team up to take down the Puck. TPs are in. Bloodright already popped on the ground, though. Will land a little bit early for Screen as the TP was a little bit elongated there in the bot lane. But Weeha and Padrino back to full health from that Shadow Dance passive and the Blood Rage, and they should be able to take down this tower with relative ease. Padrino's going to go looking for Screen. Weeha will finish off the tower. He'll get sharded up here as the TPs are inbound from Glorious Warrior. Nice 2-man Nether Blast. Snowball is there as well. Dark Pack is there from Padrino, doing quite a bit of work, though, to Screen, and he will be able to pounce away under the Nether Ward. However, PGG is going to run into Weeha here, and the negative earn tick. One more right click from Necroman. They'll pick off Weeha. That's a nice little kill for them. He is the top of the net worth chart, but Massacre finding some farm on his own in the top lane. 1,200 gold on the Timbersaw thus far.
And 7-15 BBC, not as great of a start as last game, but that was pretty hard to top. They're doing a pretty darn good job right now. Moscow 5, they're positioned as a whole bunch on the bottom lane with level 4 Blast looking to take a secondary tier 1 tower. Padrino off to the side, can't really do too much. Best bet, probably kill off the Nether Ward and hope for the best there, but it's going to be Puck to lose his life first of all. Padrino looking to get into position, still Shadow Dance, so he knows that he's unseen for now. And then a pause. Okay, so we have 2 TPs coming in, or came in already, Mass Carry and they have Blood Rights, they have Rupture. Necroman not yet shapeshifted. Padrino, what he wants to do right now is kill off the Nether Ward, but I don't think there's time to do all of that. It's either they all go in or they just poke at the Nether Ward and then try to take this a little bit slower. Regardless, it's a 3v3 down on this bottom lane, and no matter what happens, it's going to be a tower gained for BBC.
There are pings here from the Pugna, but they actually can't see Padrino in the Radiant Vision right now, so he's under the cover of fog currently. Will probably expose himself soon, but as soon as he does, there is a Death Ward waiting for him from PGG. Will be interesting to see how this works out. Mid lane, beautiful chaining of abilities from Yapzor and Pilot Eye to pick off the puck. Fisher into the Hex, into the Impale, and the Enchant Totem. Echo Slam to finish him off. Definitely a worthy kill. They'll be able to bring down this tower in the mid. There is a glyph available to stall things out, but it looks like we will have the resume in play here. And Padrino is going to show himself now underneath the Netherward. He's actually just going to right-click that down. Bloodright is going to go out. It's going to connect onto Glorious Warrior. He'll be pounced up by Padrino and should be brought down here. He's going to get mech'd up, though, or magic sticked up, I should say. The Death Ward not going to do enough off the Shadow Dance. Necroman is going to find one in Weehaw. He's going to be able to TP out, but the Timber Chain barely in range to bring him down. Well shot again by Massacre. He's been very sharp with his chains thus far on the Timber Saw. Point Booster already up for him. He'll pick up the Vit Booster on his way to a Bloodstone and the Soul Booster. Before that, the pounce is there from Padrino, but he won't have enough burst damage to bring down PGG. Good sense from him to TP out. Pilot Eye looks like he's going for a Blink Rush. Got the Tranquils in tow. 1,500 gold on him.
It was kind of a split effort for BBC. They went for the Netherward. It's a huge threat at any stage in the game. It's not level 4 just yet, but still it will punish you sufficiently, especially if you're that Timber Saw. But they get that going. They lay down the Blood Rights and make short work of the Pugna. Lived a lot longer than I really would expect, but still he died in quite a hurry. So tower in the bottom lane, I think, should be denied by BBC. There's no tactical reason to leave it up, or at least no significant one. Pedrino is going to make short work of that one, and Moscow 5 going to accept that fact, instead try to go for mid. This time they have the puck, so Coil and Silence is there. Bloodright is going to fire off on PGG, not do too much of anything there. He'll buff it right back up with Voodoo Restoration, but Wee has his Rupture, and Massacre, this is unfortunately a lot worse position for the Timber Saw. There's not that many trees here. Orb is going to fly, and this tower should be destroyed without a fight. And if Moscow 5 go for more, that could be a mistake, although they're going to catch Wee with the shards. Here comes Snowball as well. Wee taking a lot of damage. Fissure coming in, though, saving Wee for a little while longer. He lives just enough to get a couple more points of experience. Massacre, though, getting hit with the Death Ward pretty hard. PG getting a full channel off of that one. It will be enough to kill off Massacre, albeit barely. The Finger of Death killing off the Pugnet response. But, you know, still chasing forward for Slander. Another Fissure is armed and ready. Will be dodged by Slander for now, but I don't really think he has anywhere to run. He will be picked off by Padrino, making it a 2 for 4. BBC, they lost a tower in the process, but they're not going to sit back and wait. They're going to go for PGG. Maybe Padrino, no, can decide better against it, but still it's a 2 for 4 that BBC are more than happy to take, especially getting their Bloodseeker initiated upon like that. It's going to be Yapzor once again saving the day. This guy's fissures have been impeccable.
Yeah, he's absolutely on point all game long. So meticulous, so sharp with these fissures, and a nice chain whirling death chakram through 4 from Massacre as well. He's able to survive just long enough for that Death Ward to tick down, and he stays up, gets a couple of kills off as well. So overall, very nice trade for BBC, as you mentioned. Only a recipe away from the Bloodstone is Massacre, so that'll be a very nice pickup for him. 8, 2, and 4 thus far on the Timber Saw. He's leading the way in terms of KDA, followed closely by both Pilot Eye as well as Padrino, and 6 kills onto Glorious Warrior's Pugna, but 7 deaths to couple that with. They will rotate past this regen room, smoked up as 3. Necroman is behind them. They may run into Weehaw here. That'll be a nice pick off for them. Another ward dropped on the high ground. Negative urn charge. There's the Decrep. Nether Blast gonna hit with the cask. Waning Rift is there. Howl has been popped, but Wee's pretty quick. He's going to get the blood right off on the high ground. He's going to drop a Rupture onto Necroman as well. He'll try to fight, but that'll only delay the inevitable. Padrino going to go in very aggressively. Earth Spike only lands on PGG. Defensive Snowball is used, and they're going to go over towards Pilot Eye, where they hit him with 3. Death Ward going to be dropped. They bring down Yapzor. There's the Decrepify, as well as another Blast. Pilot Eye trying to run away. He should fall here as well. He's able to get the Hex off on screen, who had the Walrus Punch ready, but one last right click from Slander will bring him down 4 for nil. Padrino also going down in the back lines for Moscow 5, and they're clawing their way back into this one. Massacre, in the meantime, has picked up his Bloodstone on the Timber.
It's definitely a case of BBC getting a little bit too comfortable with the success of the last fight. They lost the Bloodseeker before he could get really much of anything off. I mean, he got the Blood Rides off, but that's pretty much it. But in those close quarters, the Snowball is such a devastating tool, and Yapzor didn't really start that off being at healthy amounts of HP anyway. So a fight that BBC probably should have just avoided altogether, but they ended up taking it and losing it pretty handily. They're not going to lose any towers off of this one, lose a little bit of HP on the tier 2 mid, but that's about it. So, you know, as long as BBC avoid fights that are clearly not going to be going well for them, with Timber Saw arriving late to the party, with Yapzor being unhealthy, and with the Bloodseeker being dead, If they just avoid those fights, it should be a lot easier for BBC to function moving down the line. But Moscow 5, it's good on them to make that aggressive rotation and will smoke up on everyone. If you're going to catch one person alone in the jungle, you want it to be Wii, or you want it to be Pedrinho, and it worked out pretty well for them, but might not work very well for them for much longer because Pi and Yapzor, they are smoked up and ready. There's a Blink Dagger on the Lion. Earthshaker wants one more kill so that he has his. But going for this bottom lane, I don't know if it's the safest way to go. PGG is free pickings, and he will run straight to Pylai Die. There is Hex, Blink Hex. There it is, Blink Hex, Impale. No, he gets stunned by a cast, Impale Finger. Okay, it's the cast already ran its course, so it didn't really work out too well. Lion's gonna get that kill. Earthshaker still without the blink, but these two support heroes are going to get away after taking out another support on the enemy end. Pedrinho's going to dive towards top where Screen is dropping very low. Shard's not going to kill off Pedrinho, but Silence will kill off the Spark even though he is Shadow Dancing. Here comes Wii, going to try to get that Silence onto Slander, who's not winning Blood Rights, will connect. Slander will be chopped down by the Bloodseeker. Someone else coming in is going to be Necroman, but he's going to have to face up against Massacre, who's also rotating around from the back, not with the most mana right now. But there are trees galore here. Whirling Death unfortunately misses, not like it matters. The Lycan will back off, but overall, it's a trade favoring BBC across the map.
Yeah, not the cleanest couple of engagements for them, but they do take a pretty favorable trade when all is said and done. Couple of wards picked up by Pylai. He's a little bit far off his level 11 still, but level 9 for this point in the game, very good. He's above both supports of Moscow 5. TP's top lane disjointed here. Massacre going to be able to get away with the Timber Chain. Still 8 Bloodstone charges on him. Blink now does come out for Yapzor, and if he's as proficient as he is with the Fishers, with that Echo Slam, we should see some big dunks impending. Weehaw in the top lane is here. He's going to get decrept up. Bloodright is going to go down. Yule's Scepter used by himself defensively. Walrus Punch will be there. It's not enough, however. Screen should fall here. Timber Chain going to be there to finish him off. Rupture onto Necroman will sound Pylai Die's retreat, but the Howled Up Wolves will get blocked off by a Fisher. Nice play by Yapzor. Pylai Die, will he be able to TP out? He's actually able to blink TP out. Meanwhile, they will bring down Massacre with the coil and the Waning Rift. Valiant play from him to save Pylai Die, but definitely wasn't worth his death, especially with that Bloodstone in his inventory. 6 charges now available on that. There's a jaunt forward from the puck, but they're not going to find anyone quite yet. Yapzor positioned pretty precariously, and he gets a big dunk. There's the chain and the chakram. And just a beautiful, patient play from Yapzor. They're going to look to chase down Slander as well. He has the phase shift and the jaunt, though, and he will be able to use that right into the face of Weehaw. He'll be able to phase shift his inevitable death here. Enchant Totem Strike from Yapzor. And fittingly enough, Yapzor finds that kill. PGG going to be the next to fall. That goes the way of Massacre. 10 Bloodstone charges now on the Timber. He's got his Boots of Travel recipe ready as well. Weehaw picked up that Yule Scepter as we saw him use defensively in the top lane, and that delayed his death, able to draw out the engagement, and a beautiful re-engage there from Yapzor, and that'll secure any advantage that Moscow 5 gained off the last few engagements.
So I don't believe Yapzor actually had the Blink Dagger for the first engagement, so correct me if I'm wrong though. Moscow 5 didn't know that the Blink Dagger was there, so they were like, oh, we'll just clump up and we'll push the tower. But Earthshaker loves it when you clump up, and he wrecked them with a nice setup. A really elaborate bait for the Echo Slam, and it worked out so very well for BBC in the end. Cleaned up absolutely everyone, and Moscow 5 are definitely going to have it in their minds now that, hey, we can't clump up and do that anymore versus the Earthshaker. It will just lead to all of our deaths. Although, honestly, they should have had it in their mind already that don't clump up versus the Earthshaker and Lion. It's now going to be firmly implanted, but Pedrinho is actually going to get jumped right now. Silence before he get anything out. He will pounce out and Shadow Dance TP. Is there anything here to disrupt it? Yes, there is the coil. Pedrinho is now going to fight to the death, but his death is soon incoming. He will get picked off right next to the Roshan pit, and Moscow 5 might want to go for that, but the rest of BBC, they're smoked up on the high ground. There is no Echo Slam for another 30, though. Are they going to want to go for this anyway? Blood Right Fissure onto 4 with an Impale onto 4 as well. They're all silenced. One's going to go down. Chain stun there. Free Glorious Warrior, Necroman, Death Ward from the Roshan pit, though. PG doing his best to force everyone else back there. Almost going to pick off Wii, but here comes another hero. It's going to be Massacre. He'll throw out a Chakra. Do a lot of damage to Necroman in the process. Yapzor is looking for another Fissure. Will land it onto 3 with another set of stuns onto Glorious Warrior. Pylai Die going to get a little bit more mana from this, but will get blasted down. Massacre has to fall back. It's so weak right now. The Nether Ward doing so much damage. But the value plays from BBC, absolutely insane. It doesn't get much better than that. Yapzor's going to re-engage, assassinate the Pug now with an Enchant Totem. He might play some games with PGG right now, but he's completely out of mana. He will get hit with the Maledict, and he's going to try to make his way out, but I don't think he has enough of what it takes. He has to hide the gem or hope for the best right now. He will just sit back and die. and that will be the end of him. PGG sees the gem. He'll walk right past it, which might be a crucial error because Massacre is coming around from the side. PGG, though, is going to TP out of there. BBC take a massive fight, 3 versus 5, and come out ahead off of a huge amount of value.
Yeah, huge plays there. 4-man Fisher, 4-man Bloodright, 4-man Earthspike. Very nice symphony of abilities coming out from BBC. Massacre a little bit late to the party. Padrino, of course, dying before the engagement in the Radiant jungle there. So still, in order to be that short-handed and fare that well, it tells you how much BBC are doing in this game. In terms of the metrics, 7,500 net worth lead, 10k experience lead. We do have a pause for the time being. Hopefully we can get these issues sorted out. But yeah, I mean, Slander's puck from the offlane, only the phase boots and the blink at this point has been pretty underwhelming. Yapsor's been more influential, and the net worth is indicative of that on his Earthshaker. Very nice 2-man Echo Slam there to finish off the Pugna despite feeding over his own life. Certainly worth it. He's level 14 now, 2nd overall in the entire game, only below Massacre's Timbersaw. That 3rd level of Echo Slam is going to come out much sooner than you would expect it to for this 4-position Earthshaker.
And the scaling of Echo Slam is usually not the most impactful just because Earthshakers are just wanting to get in there for the instant stun. But man, if you get a lot of damage done with it as well, that's just the cherry on the cake, especially if you land it onto 4 heroes and then you get a fissure on 4 heroes. Things get out of hand really quickly if you're that Shaker. But he is doing an extraordinary job, Yapsor, on the Shaker. But to be fair also, Moscow 5, they're kind of putting themselves into positions where Earthshaker, any Earthshaker, would have very easy time taking advantage of M5's poor positioning, like on the top lane mostly, but also in that Roshan pit fight where they just all lined up. Any Shaker could have done that. You just throw out the skills and then it's pretty easy. So Yapsor's still doing a very good job, but he's getting a lot of freebies just handed his way. Yeah,
they certainly are playing into their hand. Level 2 Necro Book going to come out for Necroman there, so perhaps buffing up the Echo Slam even more if not positioned properly. Full Bloodstone, almost an Aghanims here for Massacre. He's got the Staff of Wizardry in his staff, 1,700 gold away from completing that. Other than that, nothing much to speak of. It looks like PGG will be building into a BKB, but he's well a ways off of that. The Pugna going to be building into an Aghanim sector, is only 630 gold away from that, so that'll be a nice pickup for Moscow 5. Certainly don't think it's the item, however, to turn the tides of the game. Screen is dirt poor on his Tusk, and Blade Mail has been finished now by Weeha in addition to that Yule Scepter.
What they really need right now, M5, is an Aghanim Death Ward. So far, these Death Wards have been lasting for a very long time. BBC have a lot of stuns, but generally you don't want to be using your stuns on Witch Doctor when you have so many other high-priority targets to focus down. But yeah, even in that Roshan fight, he was getting almost a full channel off in Death Ward, if not completely a full channel off. If that was Aghanim, that would have been a turnaround, which you wouldn't expect to have to turn anything around in that sort of scenario when you have 5 people there. But an Aghanim Scepter on the Witch Doctor would be invaluable, but that's just a little bit too far away right now. He has the Ogre Club, and he should be going for that Aghanim Scepter, but man, he's nowhere close to it right now. And even if he does, BBC will be, they'll see it coming. Like, they will see the build up, and they will be able to respond to it accordingly.
Yeah, definitely so. Things looking very good at this point for BBC. Padrino's a little under-farmed, all things considered. He does have 5 deaths on the Slark. Looks like he'll probably be building into a Sanjin Yasha. He's got the Yasha as well as a Belt of Strength, so maybe it's a Basher and a casual Yasha at this point, but could be the full S&Y Lotus Styles. Either way, Padrino still will have some impact. He does have that Shadow Dance to keep around in these engagements, and Glorious Warrior and Necroman don't feel like they combo for enough damage to really bring down any of these high priority targets from BBC early on. They're going to need a very nice smoke engagement into perhaps a Walrus Punch or a very nice coil from Slander. He does have his blink, but not much else in the way of that. No Yule Scepter, no Dagon, no Sheep, nothing really aside from that. 21 minutes in, 34-20 for BBC. Things looking very good for them. Weeha is starting to finally find some traction. 3, 5, and 7, pretty poor KDA for him thus far, but he has been the focus of a lot of M5's firepower.
I think it's partially because Bloodseeker is more just an X factor than anything else. Like, you look at all the other BBC heroes, and yeah, Timbersaw and Slark, they're worth killing off, the Bloodseeker, you don't really know if he's worth killing off, or at least you don't know how powerful he truly can be, because I'm sure Moscow 5 have not been in this situation that all that often being up against the Bloodseeker. So killing him off seems to be a high priority, and it's worthwhile for sure. But Bloodseeker, he knows about this. Obviously, he's taken 5 spills. With the Yule Scepter to keep him alive, with Blade Mail to return damage, Moscow 5, if they really want to go for this Bloodseeker, they will be sufficiently punished, not only by the Bloodseeker's items, but by the rest of the team. Like Timbersaw, if he's ignored, that's what he loves, and Slark is the exact same way. So, and Timbersaw, by the way, very close to his Aghanim Scepter, so double Chakram sounds fun to me, but the Bloodseeker at this point might be closer to ignorable for Moscow 5 than a high priority target, because once he gets his Rupture off, if you get hit with the Blood Right, I mean, that's pretty much it. You have to deal with Blood Rage, I suppose, and Thirst gets him to be pretty ridiculous sometimes, but only sometimes.
Yeah, Thirst did help him survive earlier on when he was able to get that move speed up and get away from an engagement. But yeah, he hasn't really been the force that you would expect a Bloodseeker to be now, but certainly has garnered some of the attention from Moscow 5. And the Blood Right has landed pretty well a few times, notably at the Roshan pit. Other than the one engagement, Roshan not seen too much love here, 21 minutes in. Moscow 5 definitely with the better lineup to take him down. However, they haven't been able to do so, as there was that one 3 vs 5 engagement from BBC, so good on them. They've also established some pretty good map vision. They have some defensive vision, some mid lane vision, also Roche pit vision as well. No wards currently on the map except for the one behind the pit for the Radiant side, so they're playing pretty blindly. Radiant vision right now, they don't see a single BBC hero on the map. Taking a look at the Dire vision, they do see one just in the mid lane, that'd be Slander, but they do have a lot of aggressive vision in the jungle as well as around the pit, so definitely using their advantage to oppress M5 onto their side of the map. Still looking for the reconnect here from Yapzor, and the way he's played, definitely don't want someone microing his hero.
Bloodseeker isn't that hard, right? He just played Meepo?
Yeah, he just played Meepo, so he could probably do the whole team, right? But yeah.
I mean, yeah, Shaker probably... He definitely is a hero that requires finesse. And Bloodseeker is a hero that requires a little bit less finesse, so... I don't know. Take for that what you may, but... It seems like Yapzor is just wiped off the face of the earth right now, and that's kind of unfortunate for BBC. Moscow 5, 20 minutes into the game. This is pretty much the point in time where their lineup should be at its strongest, but slowly starting to get weaker. So they're peaked off. They're like not growing as much as fast. The growth rate is slowed down at this point, so they have to look to the rest of these tier 2 towers. Mid lane's pretty banged up, but bottom and top are almost perfectly healthy right now. So it's possible for Moscow 5 to bowl down all those tier 2 towers, but BBC, they've been putting up very, very nice fights every single time Moscow 5 have been going for those types of plays, and if the past is any indication, then Moscow 5 are really going to struggle to end this game by the 30-40 minute mark, which is really the point where they want this game to be over.
Yeah, definitely so. 2 minutes given here from Dom Base. 92 CS, 21 minutes in. Pretty poor for Necroman. He's being surpassed right now by Weehaw and Massacre. Massacre, pretty much the scariest hero on the map at this point. 11 Bloodstone charges. Got his bots. He's got 2 components towards the Aghanims, as well as his value items in the urn and the magic stick. And he's only going to get scarier at this point. They don't have a Hex to deal with him. They don't really have a reliable silence other than the Waning Rift. And Massacre has been pretty much had free reign throughout most of these team fights, but there is the blink from Slander, so perhaps they're able to get that off and burst him down with the help of the Tusk's disables. Unfortunately for Screen, he's only level 9, which is the lowest on the map by far. Pylai above him at level 11. It's level 2 in Finger of Death with that Blink Dagger and 1200 gold as well. In addition, perhaps looks to build into a Force Staff or maybe even an Aghanims of his own.
Alright, so hopefully this is not going to result in any sort of reload or anything like that, because no one likes to have to go through all of that, but it's definitely going to be hurting both these two teams as far as the momentum is concerned. BBC, they still just want to turtle up and make sure that they don't die within the next 10-20 minutes, as I said before, but right now they're still holding on to a lot of steam. They got 11 Bloodstone charges on Massacre. They're able to go right now if they really want to, but it seems like PG he's getting a little bit uppity right now, so he wants to go.
Nothing
Like
too
that
unusual
is
from PGG. I feel like he's even salty when he wins. Pretty cute effigy from Massacre.
Let's do this the fair way. Sorry, Pilot Die. That's actually not how it works. Do what the admin says, and that's the fair way.
Yes, up on Cloud 9, everything is all roses. But down here on Earth, in the Dota 2 world, we will see them have to unpause here, and unfortunately Yapzor probably going to be microed by Weehaw. Who else? Either way, very nice advantage here for BBC. They should be able to translate this into some aggression here after maybe they recede into the Roshan pit for now, with the full 5-man lineup, as Yapzor is still down. Pedrino with a GLHF. And Weehaw, no stranger to micro. They will do a little bit of dewording here from Pilot Die on the high ground, and that'll completely render the Radiant side blind. As you see, the only hero they can see right now is Pedrino in this bottom lane, and they may run into Pilot Die here. He's got a blink. He's going to drop a sentry and look to find someone. Pedrino rotating in. Sentry is going to be there, but the pounce will land on the BGG. In fact, he walks into it. There's a jump. Waning Rift, though. Finger of Death is going to be dropped onto Slander. He's going to get real low. Pedrino's Dark Pact not going to be there to finish off PGG. Pilot Eye will pay with his life, and the next to fall will be Pedrino as well. Mech up from the lineup of Moscow 5. Don't know that they'll be able to take anything immediately off of this, although Roshan is available. And perhaps they look to find that. Yapzor rotating down to the bot lane. Weehaw standing still, fighting some Ancients. So it looks like he'll be the one controlling this Earthshaker. And hopefully for M5's sake, they don't run into this Roshan pit with a little too much hubris, or they may find themselves getting dunked by the disconnected player.
Fortunately for BBC, their respawn timers are going to line up almost perfectly to defend this tower. They have fortification, and maybe they're going to mount some sort of defense. Yapzor is deep behind the tree line right now, scouting tools, wolves,
Blood
orbs,
Rage on
being
the
thrown every
Earthshaker.
which way, and we is also ready. There is another ward here, however, and that will crimp all the plans for Moscow, for BBC, if they actually want to engage on this Yapzor. Looks like he's going to fall back. We still think about going in, but I don't really think this is the time for it. Radiant's Courier also gets picked off in the process, what was on that point booster for Slander, so that's not going to happen a little while longer. Blood right on the floor. Fissure will fly. Mostly just harassment tactics. BBC, they sacrifice a tier 2 tower, though I don't really think it would have been feasible to defend it with the positioning that Moscow 5 were in. It's just one of the 3 objectives that BBC, or that Moscow 5 rather, really need to take if they want to end this game according to plan. They're going to smoke up next to Roshan, which fortunately for them isn't spotted out, but I don't really know where they're going to go with this one, because Pedrino is going to blow the smoke immediately. Necroman is spotted out, gets ruptured, and he's going to get blood right, but he will just walk right out of it and then straight TP out. Is there anything here to disrupt it? Looks like there's not. Double chakra flying through. PGG going to get annihilated. Now Glorious Warrior trying to drain out Massacre. The stun's still working away. Massacre that will survive because of how tanky he is. Now Glorious Warrior looking to get a couple more blasts out, but Yapzor missing with his Echo Slam for the most part. Here comes a snowball onto what looks like the Slark with the Drew Amplify. It looks like it will land to a lot of damage as well. Bloodright will silence screen for now, but BBC, they don't really have enough gas in the tank right now, because here comes Necroman. Wee's gonna pop the Blade Mail, but it will do pretty much nothing. Glorious Warrior will drain him out, get another kill, and Yapzor has to run away. He will TP out of there. Massacre will also leave. That cast providing some serious value for Moscow 5.
Yeah, a little bit of an optimistic death ward, but it ends up working out for PGG with the close proximity of those 2 heroes. And unfortunately, the Echo Slam not quite there when you got to micro the Earthshaker alongside your own hero. So this will be a Roshan forfeited over to Moscow 5, and they will be able to take this with relative ease with the life drain there. And no contest going to be inbound from BBC. We'll see the graphs take a nice dip back towards Moscow 5's favor. 6k experience lead still there for BBC, about 5k in the way of net worth, down from 7,500 and 10k respectively.
Alright, so this is kind of well played on Moscow 5, kind of a lucky break because, well, it's 4v5 now. Either way, it's still Moscow 5 in a decent position so that they can continue pushing inwards towards the enemy base. Aegis plus Necro units now up on Necroman, and that means the tower is going to die that much faster, though double Chakram, certainly a threat. Earthshaker is a little bit of a threat as well. Bloodseeker at this point not really seeing the huge impact. I mean, Rupture is usually supposed to be a crowd control tool at the very least, stopping the enemy's movement, but we can see how much Necroman actually cares about that one. He walked that one off, and he was perfectly fine at doing so. We is not going to be able to contribute that much as Bloodseeker, I fear, at this stage in the game. unless everyone is at 10 HP, in which case, well, yeah, the movement speed from Thirst is going to kick in, the damage from Thirst is going to kick in, and things will get really bloody real quickly. But aside from that, I don't really know if it's going to happen outside of a huge silence. Mascari going to get hit with the Maledict plus the Death Ward channel for quite a long time. Shard's not going to connect. Mascari still might die anyway, has 12 Bloodstone charges, so he will commit suicide, and he will be up in 20 seconds. But it's still a free pick off for Moscow 5. It's 20 seconds that they have to just push and do whatever the hell they want, and looks like that will be just enough to kill off this tower. BBC, they should not mount a defense here.
Padrino looking to flank perhaps from the backside. In fact, he's just going to push out the bot wave, and as you mentioned, they're not going to be willing to put up a defense just for a simple tier 2, especially against a lineup that pushes as well as this. If they lose this engagement, they're definitely losing a lane of racks, and down 4v5, probably want to look for a better scenario to jump in. Full Sanjanyasha now complete onto Padrino. He's going to look to find that level 3 in Shadow Dance sometime soon, and full BKB finished off for the Pugna for Moscow 5.
That's a pretty nice item, as nothing that BBC have can actually go through that BKB. It's actually kind of surprising to see him not go for that Aghanim Scepter straight, but like he's confident enough in his ability to survive, especially now that he has the BKB, and he is relying more so on Necroman to do the damage than himself, and that's reasonable for a little bit more. The Aghanim Scepter does let you contribute a lot more as Pugna down the line, but for right now he's doing his job well enough. Bottom tier tower will be taken from BBC, but Moscow 5, they're going to take the last outer tier 2 tower of the game in short order if BBC don't mount a defense. It looks like they are nowhere near being close to doing that. It's going to be kind of split push on the side, on the other 2 lanes. Slark doing his best, Mascari doing his best, but the speed at which Moscow 5 can push is scary, and they are not going to stop at a tier 2. Echo Slam with the high ground. Yapzor sitting ready, waiting, and this is not something you usually check until, well, you fissure and then everything is revealed. Blood Right's going to fly, and, well, that's going to be Moscow 5's most of their creep wave dead, but they still have the Nether Ward, they still have the Nether Blast, and they still have Aegis. Necroman right into the high ground, working on that tower immediately. Blink forward, impale, double Chakram, doing quite a bit of damage to Necroman. Still has that Aegis. He's sitting right in the Chakrams, actually. He's going to lose his Aegis to nothing else but Mascari's ultimate, but now Mascari's out of mana. So Necroman, he's going to pop his wolf form, instantly gets ruptured, but he's taking next to no damage for it. Blood Rights is there. Necroman's going to shuffle right outside of that range. In the meantime, Padrino is working towards the bottom lane. This tower is almost dead. He might actually beat Moscow 5 in this race. Mascari with a double Chakram providing some serious value. Cast going to be thrown, won't bounce this time. Impale just to slow everything down. Whirling Death, Timber Chain, and BBC, they're holding the high ground. Padrino, he's dropping pretty low, but he's going to force someone to teleport back. It's going to be that Witch Doctor as well as the Lycan, but he is off already. Can they catch anyone on the retreat? BBC looks like they will fail at trying to nail down Necroman. Maybe they'll catch up to Glorious Warrior, but he has BKB. Has no TP, however. That could be really bad. He's going to get, cut off by Mascari, double Chakram. You can pop your BKB if you want, but you're still just going to be forced to run. Yapzor gets walled off by Ice Shards, but Glorious Warrior cannot disengage fastly enough. He does not have the Aghanim Scepter life drain either, so he already used it. Now he's going to get chased down by Wii and Timbersaw. They get the kill, and they hold on to, well, actually, no, they don't. The Catapult took care of the job in the top lane, but they also get a tier 3 tower, so it's an even trade for BBC, which is remarkable considering the position that they were in.
Yeah, absolutely. Full BKB now completed as well by Massacre. He's got 10 Bloodstone charges. Blink, however, does come out for screen. That's finally a nice item for him. He'll be able to get a little bit more initiation power with that and probably burst down either Pile I Die or Yaps. Or Padrino also going to be a little bit susceptible to that if they can chain the CCs well enough such that he doesn't get his Shadow Dance off. Perhaps looking to build into a BKB of his own. He's picked up an Ogre Club and is ferrying that out. Not sure why he didn't pick up the Mithril Hammer as well. Probably saving for buyback at this point. Still needs the TP in tow. So things still looking not bad for BBC. That was definitely a successful defense considering they got the tier 3 themselves and also found a couple of kills on the way out.
Padrino, though, he might run into PGG. Historically, this has not been a good position for Padrino to be in. He's going to this time packed out the cask. And even though Puck's giving chase, don't think he's quite fast enough to catch up to this Slark. Slark is going to be A-okay. Meet up with the Yapzor right now, but I don't really know if they want to fully engage down this bottom lane. It's a smart move from Moscow 5 to go to the bottom lane and push out the lane that is currently lacking their own tier 3 tower. But BBC, they have to be really careful with how they approach this screen. Is going to let his presence be known. Looking for an Ice Shard forward onto Yapzor will not land. This time it's BBC to be doing split push up towards top. Might force Moscow 5 back, but even if it doesn't, Moscow 5 will be able to put a lot of pressure onto more lanes more often with the heroes that they have. But as long as BBC just stall out, get a little bit more farm, and maybe try to wait out this Pugna. Things could get better for them, but even if they do that, Pugna's well on his way to his Aghanim Scepter, being only 300 gold away from it.
Yeah, that'll be a very nice pickup, and that'll persist inevitably and indefinitely with no cooldown on that. So that'll be very nice to bring down a few of these different targets. Padrino still pretty elusive. Looks like he'll build into a BKB at this point with the Ogre Club. Yapzor is backing him up for the time being, pretty far away. Gem was picked up on Tusk, and that's why you saw them de-ward. That ward was placed down by the Earthshaker instantly, and so they'll look to establish some map control. Taking a look at the dire vision now, they can't see much as opposed to a couple of minutes ago where they could see most of the map. So Padrino still going to push out this bottom lane here. TPs are available for 4 of 5 members from Moscow 5-Int, so they will be able to defend this. Also, they're just in a much better position to find a defense. PGG actually does opt for the BKB, as we mentioned before, as opposed to that Aghanim. So he has been able to get off a lot of good channels, so a little bit questionable why he doesn't go for the extra damage as opposed for that defensive capability, but he is one of the more squishy targets, and Massacre has been able to drop him down fairly quickly in most of these engagements. So will be interesting to see how that pans out for him.
Well, right now they're going to try to collapse on the Padrino one more time. This time he has Yapzor right behind him. Fissure connecting onto Slander, but they don't have nearly enough crowd control to kill off this puck reliably. And Yapzor is going to get jumped by PG, Maledict, and Death Ward. Yapzor might be able to shrug this one off, although no, he doesn't have TP. He's dead. Padrino is also going to try to TP out. Coil has already been used. Padrino is going to teleport out to safety, but Yapzor not as lucky with PG grabbing that solo kill. It seems like every single time BBC go to this bottom lane, they just get collapsed upon. At this point, it shouldn't really be a surprise for them. Trades and sites maybe take down a tier 2 mid lane tower if their catapult is feeling really uppity today, but outside of that, BBC just throwing away their Earthshaker and making it so that Moscow 5 have an opportunity to push down the mid lane and try to take a stab at the high ground push.
Yeah, Roshan minimum spawn is now, but still 25 seconds until it's up, unfortunately, for Moscow 5. It looks like Weehaw will be able to take this tower in the off lane, and as well, Massacre simultaneously will take down that tier 2 in the mid lane as well. So all the outer tier towers are finally down now for Moscow 5. Same goes for, of course, BBC, and they will look to mount a defense here as Weehaw continues to push in. He does have a TP of his own with his 10-second BKB. Blade Mail Yule's ready. He's going to start the push already. It looks like they're not committing anything quite yet. They will force out the glyph, however, and it looks like Moscow 5 a little bit unsure as to what their plan is here. They will drop the Nether Ward though, so it looks like there will be a high ground push. Double Chakram goes out. Jump in. Waning Rift whiffs completely from Slander. He'll have to just walk out of the base. There's a Fissure onto PGG as well. But all the meanwhile, Weehaw almost brought down the tier 3 by himself. TPs have come back from screen. He'll get the shards off. Blade Mail was popped by Weehaw. Rupture goes out onto screen, but Necroman is back as well. Meanwhile, he will BKB TP away in the top lane. Glorious Warrior trying to TP out under the cover of his BKB. He'll be able to do so. PGG goes down, however. Meanwhile, Yapzor did fall, and Weehaw was able to TP out under his BKB in the bot lane, so they do get that tier 3 into deny range.
Man, we microing Bloodseeker up on top lane and the Earthshaker down on bottom. Ultimately did get Yapzor killed, but you know what? He's handling 2 heroes right now, so I'm going to give him a pass on that one. BBC, they almost take down a tier 3 tower up on top. It's so very close, and the damage they sustained on the bottom lane tower, absolutely none. So BBC, they're making these holds, and it's really Moscow 5 that have to be chipping the damage with the blasts, with wolves, and if those aren't there, if BBC are always split pushing and putting Moscow 5 on a timer, then BBC actually have a reasonable chance of defending every single time. Like next time they're going to have Shiva's Guard, another skill to clear out the creep wave. Soon they're going to have an Aghanim Scepter on Lion. The dream is always there for, you know, a massive Finger of Death after a snowball or something like that. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but BBC, they're holding their high ground right now, and this is all while playing 4v5, and they're just getting slowly but surely a little bit more gold, a little bit more often in the Moscow 5 sides of the map. If you look at the golden experience, it's slowly going more and more towards BBC, and they have heroes that could use it better.
Blood right out top lane, just on a couple of illusions. They're going to try and bring these down, who are dragging the wave back pretty successfully. Paladai using a drain and a hex to bring those down. Either way, things looking fairly good for Moscow 5 after Yapzor leaves this one. AC is being built into here from Necroman after his 10-second BKB has been grabbed in the river. There's an engagement Massacre onto PGG. The BKB is there, and he will just let the Chakram finish the job. He's still got the BKB up for a couple seconds. Will be able to the chain to the high ground. That's going to snap the coil, which does have an Aghanims upgrade and will snap through BKB, but that will sound off the aggression. And Massacre actually zipped down to the low ground with the chain looking for more, but Glorious Warrior a little too far back for him to continue. Either way, 1-0 going BBC's way, but Lycan with that 10-second BKB and an AC impending is going to start to get pretty scary for BBC, especially considering that they only really have a farmed Bloodseeker and Timber. Padrino lacking a bit of farm at this point.
And if Padrino does find a little bit more time to get that up, then he'll be able to not necessarily man-fight Necroman. He will very quickly lose that, but it's over toward the mid where Massacre is going to get jumped. Snowball I know actually that was just a missed Timber Chain, I believe, so Timbersaw getting a little bit out of position, dropping a Wicked Six Streak to the Pugna for free. That's a 1-0 gain for BBC, getting responded to by a 1-0 gain for Moscow 5 International, and it seems like BBC, they're just on the split push plan for right now. Maybe eventually Yapzor going to come back into this game, and he will have 2,400 gold when he does return, but BBC, they're not actually making any sort of attempts at winning the game right now. They're just trying to stall out, and as far as winning the game, I don't see it actually happening unless they take a massive team fight right outside of the Moscow 5 base, but that massive team fight isn't going to be happening unless BBC actually group up, and they seem to be staunchly avoiding that as well.
Yeah, they could go into Roshan. It's been pinged out now by PGG, though, and there is a smoke from 3 members of Moscow 5. They will make their way over, but they see Massacre. He's a little bit more of a juicy target in the mid lane, but he's going to have some good game sense to chain out towards this double damage rune, and if he hangs around too long, it may spell his doom, but they are going to rotate right back down to the Roche pit. All their lanes are pushing in, however, so they need to be dropping this really quick. They do have Necroman here with the Necro books. They've got the Walrus Punch as well to keep Roche in check, and they should bring him down fairly quickly with the life drain. They're going to pop the Howl. The Frozen Sigil is there. Meanwhile, their tier 3 will drop to one big right click from Massacre. He's going to look to put some damage into this range Rax. Meanwhile, Weeha has been caught up with the coil. He's going to use up the Witch Doctor, and that'll cancel the Death Ward, which is nice from him. He's going to even BKB up and look to man fight into Screen with the Thirst move speed. He should be able to bring him down under the cover of BKB. One more right click needed from Weeha. The punch is there, though, with the Waning Rift. Screen knowing his boundaries, very nice, but they lose a lane of Rax for it. Double Chakram goes out onto PGG. Finger of Death is there from Pilot Eye. Massacre going to be able to get down to the low ground with his chain. No bashes from Necroman. He doesn't have a basher. BKB pop from Massacre. He's actually going to man fight up Necroman. He'll bring down the Aegis. He's got a chain to get away right through Slander as well. Pilot Eye is there with an Earth Spike. Double Chakram. One more right click. The Snowball from Screen will save the puck for now. Snowball not going to be there to get Pilot Eye, but the shards will jump forward from Slander. Will he take a fall? He does not. Walrus Punch going to finish off the Lion. Massacre trying to get away with the Timber Chain. Will be successful in doing so. 10 stacks on his Bloodstone. He's going to be regenning up pretty quickly. Maybe he looks to find a return kill here onto Screen. His vision not the best, but the ward on the high ground. He does see Screen. He's going to chain. It's going to hit him short on a tree there. There's a Snowball. Gonna be blocked by Massacre. The Fisher is there from range from Yapzor, and that'll get them a gem. Very nice pickup for them. Padrino in the meantime is taking down the range Rax bottom. He's gonna get decrept, but he'll be able to pounce out. Still got his 10-second BKB and his Shadow Dance, and the split push is real from BBC. Overall taking a very nice engagement. They force a buyback out just now from Screen as well, and they'll be able to extricate themselves from the situation and waste that buyback essentially on the Tusk.
Padrino actually solo killed the Lycan when he was down there. Lycan got first hit bash when he teleported in, then Slark got a couple more, and then once the Essence shift really started to stack up, Lycan, who just used his shapeshift previously, was at the mercy of Padrino, who's going to get jumped by Screen and Slander. Snowball is, but where the hell did Snowball go? That was really weird, didn't see it there, but Screen is actually going to get jumped. There's a first hit back from Padrino. Still has Shadow Dance, although doesn't have the mana to do it. BKB is up for him. He's going to pounce forward for Glorious Warrior. He has a BKB up of his own, but can't really do that much outside of just try to get some life. Padrino also took down the range Raxes while that Wild's Goose Chase was happening over in the Radiant side secret shop. So BBC, they split push their way into a set of Raxing, or I guess a set and a half of Raxes, and Moscow 5 just scrambling to make any sort of defense. The Timbersaw's damage was intense. That was him just jumping around every which way with double chakrams flying, and there's not much that you can do about that just because of how insane that burst damage is from the hero. If you let him survive, or he's allowed to survive, for just a little while too long, then you're going to be punished by several sets of chocolate.
Yeah, for level full 25, Timbersaw, he's going to bring out a Scythe of Vice as well, dropping his urn for that huge pickup. He's standing in a fountain right now, 12 charges on his Bloodstone. YapzOr going to join the fray from the back lines, and perhaps they look to finish off this melee racks, here, as Screen is down without buyback for another 10 seconds. Massacre going to be the battering ram in the front lines, going to use one Chakram and the Whirling Death to bring down the wave. And there is no backdoor protection at the moment. It is now going to start regenning up. Life Drain going to bring down Massacre dangerously low, and he will have to remove himself from any danger onto the high ground here. They don't have Padrino with them. He's forcing in the mid lane. Hex, although, comes out here for Glorious Warrior, and that's a very nice pickup against the Timbersaw. Perhaps they're finally able to shut him down in this next engagement. Blood Rage goes out, double shock him, doing a hell of a lot of damage, and there's the jump forward with the shards, gonna whiff onto Massacre. The Hex is there, however. Cask only gonna bounce once. Massacre still has this BKB, he's gonna pop it. Fisher hits on 3, Bloodright gonna hit on 2. They're both BKB'd up though. Walrus Punch goes out onto Weehaw. YapzOr gonna come in, he's gonna enchant totem, Echo Slam up Screen, but he's getting life drained down. YapzOr will take a fall here, and buyback comes out from the puck, but everyone else going to be able to disengage from BBC. A big wave amassing on the tier 4s here in the bottom. Padrino takes one down. Timbersaw actually going to be the one to fall. PGG falls there. Bloodright is popped, but it's only going to hit on Necroman here. Pilot Eye able to run the opposite way, but the Wolves will bring him down. Walrus Punch bringing Padrino into the air. He won't be able to bring down Necroman. And a huge engagement going Moscow 5's way. They force out the buyback from the puck, but a 5-for-2 overall. The life drain on YapzOr, able to bring him down before he gets the puck, and a lot of the units attacking the effigy apparently, and unfortunately didn't get enough done on this tier 4, and things looking better and better for Moscow 5. Graph stiffing back in their favor.
BBC, they have a couple of buybacks that it's not like they're really going to need it. Moscow 5, unfortunately, took a little bit too long with taking that fight decisively. They do kill off everyone. They can't really crack back for anything serious, as the tier 3s on bottom and mid still very much so alive, and the creep wave just not working out for them on the top lane. So BBC, they'll have enough time to respawn, and the split push just momentarily lapsed from BBC. They couldn't get it done any while longer. They had to take a full-on engagement, and that was a fight that Moscow 5 were fully prepared for. The defensive capabilities of Snowball really shining through right then, and well, BBC, they are once again on the defensive for now, but still being a racks up means that being defensive is going to be so much easier down the line, because eventually top lane is going to push back towards the Moscow 5 international base. For BBC, it was just a case of avoiding the Lycan. Like, this guy is just running every which way, and Timbersaw dropped very low very quickly in that past fight because he was isolated away from the rest of his team. He wasn't able to play, jump rope with the high ground like he was able to do in the last fight where BBC took a set and a half of Raxes. So if he's able to survive longer, the more damage he's going to be able to put out. But there's one of those times where he was just cornered and he couldn't really do much.
Yeah, going to be a 4-man smoke here from BBC. 3+1 DC. Weehaw probably going to bait out mid. He's actually going to wrap around behind his team, and they will look to finish this off and find some mega creeps through this mid lane. They may find a very high priority target in Necroman. He's got his 9-second BKB available though. Full AC on him as well. 1,600 gold ready, and they're not going to be too aggressive to fall forward here. But PGG jump forward, Hex, Finger of Death, Chakram. He'll get finished off without a sound. And PGG down for 64 seconds. No buyback available for him. In fact, Piladai, the Pugna, and Yaps are the only ones with buyback currently in the game. Everyone else short on gold. The puck on cooldown, of course, used that in the bottom engagement. Padrino going to look to cut the wave here bottom, and they are going to look to push in from all sides perhaps before they go in, but by that point, we may see PGG be respawning.
So I think Twitch is just broken right now. Like, if you could check at your streaming and see if everything's going fine, that would be great, because Twitch is seriously bugging out. It was showing what happened 37 minutes in, and we're at 44, so if you could just confirm that everything's fine on your end, hopefully we could just all blame Twitch in one collective voice, but hopefully it's going to sort itself out, because aside from that, I don't know if there's much that can be done. BBC, they're once again at a point in the map where they have about tier 2 coverage, or radiant tier 2 coverage near Moscow 5 International's base, so they are able to split push, they're able to poke and prod, and Moscow 5, they're on the defensive, which is exactly where they don't want to be whenever you have a Pugna on your team. BBC is still working without their Earthshaker right now, but they're slowly putting certain damage onto these structures of Moscow 5 International. Maybe not the bottom lane melee raxing, but over towards mid, chip damage on the tower, over towards top lane, killing off the effigy, chipping down the tier 4, at the very least buying time for the Roshan to respawn.
Yeah, my Twitch stream won't even load, so not sure what the hell is going on there, but it looks like Pilot Eye building into an Aghanims. He's got 2k gold, so he can finish it off if he doesn't want to save for buyback here, and that'll be a big pickup. Slander's Puck, his effigy, I mean, goes down here, so the creeps finally be able to take down these tier 4s. And bottom lane, Padrino has been caught out. He's going to be hexed up. There's the cast and the Death Ward. He's being life drained as well. He can BKB. Shadow Dance coming in is Massacre. Big damage on 2. They'll bring down Slander and PGG. Glorious Warrior going to get chained through as well. The bash is there through the BKB. Defensive Snowball is now used by Scream, but he'll have to drop it on the creeps. Massacre getting pretty low. He has to shock him up on Glorious Warrior, but the life drain keeping him alive. Massacre trying to chain away, unsuccessful in doing so. Meanwhile, mid lane, they don't get too much done. The Rupture comes out here with the Finger of Death onto screen. He'll go down, and he will instantly buy back. Buyback is available on the Pugna. Padrino looks like he bought back into the fray as well. And he is around here. They've got 4 amassed. Massacre down. Pretty low res timer with that Bloodstone, but he will be able to buy back if need be. He does have Boots of Travel. Probably will just wait for this timer. Still 8 charges on his Bloodstone, and his respawn will overlap with his BKB cooldown, so he'll probably just wait that out and look to go back in. There's no buyback available for Slander's Puck here, so they can look to re-engage on the high ground. Pilot Eye, still no Aghanims for him. 2,500 gold, and his buyback at this point costs him 1,200, so still needs 700 for buyback and Aghanims as Padrino completes a full butterfly.
And Roshan is going to be respawning in a matter of seconds with Puck out of the question for another 30, and with the gem being available for Pilot Eye, he's going to hex up a wolf so that we can grab the double damage rune. And that's as soon as Roshan respawns. This is a cheese Roshan as well, with Padrino, of course, doing his best to split push as BBC have been doing for the past 5-10 minutes right now. We apparently capable of soloing Roshan at this stage, and he will go straight to work at doing that. It's an awkward situation for Moscow 5 where they really can't afford to go on the offensive. They have to wait for BBC to come to them, and I don't really know if that's in the cards right now. Even with the double damage rune, is getting roughed up pretty badly by Roshan, but he will grab the cheese Aegis, or some sort of combination of that. He'll grab the Aegis and drop a Basher. Man, that's an expensive Aegis right there. Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Awkward choice.
Cheese going the way of Padrino. He'll drop his drums. That's a little more understandable here, but it looks like Weehaw will now go back for that Basher. Either way, they do have the Aegis and Cheese in hand now. BBC looking at the metrics, 15k in terms of net worth. Experience about negligible at this point. 4k lead in their favor, so high ground defense will be real. They pick off PGG here though. Massacre and Pilot Eye teaming up for that. Pilot Eye very low on mana. Hex goes out onto Massacre though. This will be a huge loss if they lose the Timbersaw. He'll be able to BKB. He's gonna snap the coil though. There is an Aghanim Scepter upgrade on that. His BKB is gonna expire now. He's just gonna have to turn, throw the shotgun. He will get to the high ground and barely disjoint the life drain. They will get the Rupture out onto Necroman as well. Weehaw looking very scary right now, but the snowball is there from screen. Yapzor looking to wrap from the backside, and Weehaw is going to pop his BKB. He will go down. That's just the Aegis though. If they converge on him, there could be a big dunk here from Yapzor. Yapzor actually going to be found out in the trees by Slander. Weehaw going to try and back off. He's getting decrept up. He'll drop the Blood Right. That should stop this life drain, and he's going to get hexed up. However, he could be going down. Meanwhile, Padrino is split pushing. Weehaw able to make it away. No, Snowball going to catch him. Walrus Punch is there as well. He dies. Padrino though picking off the melee racks in the bottom lane, and Yapzor going to fall as well top lane. Overall, quite a few dropping down. 2 for 2 it looks like overall. Necroman actually drops. I guess Padrino finds a solo kill on him. Glorious Warrior gonna pop the life drain onto Padrino. Padrino doesn't have much to deal with this, but he will get a bash off, and there goes the life drain once again. However, with the Waning Rift, Dark Pack gonna cancel off the Waning Rift. He'll pick off Slander. Massacre here though is getting life drain down as well. There's the Finger of Death from Pilot Eye, but that's all he's got mana for, and Massacre is gonna have to suicide. and they won't be able to find anything else. However, one of the tier 4s has dropped down. There's a big creep wave as well, trying to look to take another. Necroman up the mid, though. Maybe they look to GG it here with 4 heroes down from BBC. Little do they know, every single one of them has buyback ready.
And that is going to be so integral for BBC. They can just buy back right now and chill because the base of Moscow 5 is in full breach. This Pugna doing so much work with the Aghanim Scepter, 0 cooldown life drain, constantly stealing that life. And even though Slark is able to kill off the Pugna if it's just life drain versus Slark damage, he can't do it through the ghost form. And Pugna gonna grab a refresher orb for presumably just double Nether Ward, double Sheep, double BKB. Not really the most common of items seen, but he has right now. Yapster with the Gog in the mid lane, going to jump in with a nice Echo Slam into PG, assassinate him. Necroman also hexed up. He is in wolf form though, so that's a very fast moving frog. He will make it out to safety, it seems. But BBC, they hold on to their mid lane tier 3 right now, and only one set of racks stand between them and victory. They don't have the cheese anymore. They don't have the Aegis anymore. No, actually, they do have the cheese still onto Padrinho. He just died with it because he was sheeped by the time he was dead. But BBC, they have to wait 15 seconds. By that time, Witch Doctor will not be up. Slark does not have travels, though. If he really wants to, he could buy them. I don't really know if they need to, just because mid lane is going to be the last issue for BBC, and they could even continue split pushing if they really wanted to. It's not necessary by any stretch. But if they want to chip down this mid lane, then that's probably the safest way of doing it. And yeah, the Twitch servers are apparently really dead right now, so hopefully someone is still listening to this cast. But if not, then the VODs will be up anyway.
Yeah, either way, things looking fairly good for BBC at this point. They are holding 5 buybacks. Only the Puck holding on to a buyback here from Moscow 5. They can go in mid lane, look for a nice engagement. Padrino with the cheese in hand, and he does have the Abyssal as well. Looks like Slander, the only one with buyback, is going to need a pause. Heart picked up now by the Timbersaw. 4,600 gold in addition to that, but don't think he'll be replacing any of his other items after this.
Alright, so we're at 51 minutes, and BBC 1 racks away from victory with a 4v5 on their hands. It's Moscow 5 with everyone back up alive. I thought the Witch Doctor was dead for a little while longer, but apparently I was misinformed. He respawned enough, and, well, BBC, their Slark is ready to go right now, and it's going to be probably a slow siege for BBC. There's really no need to rush things when they have all the time in the world. With 2 racks of creeps flowing in. Hell, if they even want to, they could just go back into Roshan, although it seems like that would be a very, very slow way of doing it. They're going to slowly start to approach the high ground with double chocolate. Massacre, though, going to get Hex. Start the life drain on him, taking quite a bit of damage. Hex onto Slander, going to be in response, but a nice blood rice and snowball onto everyone. There's the cast of the Death Ward. It will be cancelled immediately with 2 down, 1 on either side right now. Wee's stuck in the middle of everyone, but he will pop the cheese and will be just fine for the time being. Padrino, though, going to snap the coil without getting the pack out, and Padrino's going to get pawed down by Necroman. It looks like, yes, he will go down. Massacre will escape. Wee still on the run with quite a bit of movement speed with the Yule Scepter. He will get sheeped up, though, and with Snowball incoming, Wee is not going to be able to escape this. Buyback is still available on BBC, and the base of Moscow 5 is still in tatters, but they hold the push from BBC, mostly because of good initiation by the Moscow 5 side, and Snowball Death Ward, I mean, it's layered in such a way that just causes mass havoc for the side of BBC to deal with, but they ultimately end up taking the fight, and now they're going to try to crack back into something, but that is going to be very difficult to achieve, given that Timbersaw with his double chakrams is still standing.
Yeah, Padrino did want to buy a blink there. He sold it twice, knowing that he may need buyback here. Engagement mid, however, they're going to hex up Glorious Warrior. There's the Timber Chain through. He'll get hex from the Scythe of Vice as well. Whirling Death finishing him off, or the pullback on the Chakram, I should say. Necroman having to turn tail and run. The dog he is, and they will be able to perhaps wait out the res timer for Padrino. Roche is not up for a little while for either team, so they'll probably just wait out the res timers here. No rush thus far. They will allow M5 to push the waves out a bit more, but they'll still, after that engagement, things looking decent for BBC, and they haven't been able to crack high ground aside from about 20 minutes ago in top lane for Moscow 5.
So Yapstore has 5,300 gold. I don't know how it actually works in these lobby games.
You can't purchase anything, yeah.
No, you can't?
Mm-mm.
Man, that's rough.
It is, it
like,
really is.
Well, I mean, if he was able to, just like Halberd or something, a sheep stick build up or That's so much net worth
Even an
on
AC
BBC side
for
that
his
is
team would
doing
be
literally
nice.
nothing right now. Pilot Die, though, he's on the hunt for PGG. He's going to run into a Witch Doctor with Magic Immunity, so Pilot Die can't really do much there. He will get cornered by Ice Shards. The Pilot Die is going to die alone in the corner screen to beat him down. Yapzor thinking about jumping right back in, but it's actually a buyback for the Pugna as they do try to initiate Echo Slam onto Slander. Won't quite kill him off. Necroman now going to go to town onto Yapzor. The Timbersaw gets to the other side of the trees. There are a couple Chakrams here and there. Might kill off Slander with the return of one. Timber Chain through. Puck's still alive though. Phase shifted all that damage. Here comes Wee. Does see Slander, and the Blood Rights won't kill him off just yet, but Puck is going to land into a Chakram. That will be his death. Him and Lycan now down. PGG also getting assassinated by Padrino as they go for screen. Bashing it is going to stop the Tusk's escape. And now Glorious Warrior, he's going to have to deal with Bash as well, but he's going to drop. He just bought back, and it's only the Puck and the Tusk to defend right now. BBC, they lost the Earthshaker right now, but they're still going for more Massive Carry. Oh, okay, looks like they're not going for more because that's a GG call. It looks like BBC, even with the 4v5 in their hands, they managed to pull it out, and they're going to take down Moscow 5 International 2-0 in this best of 3.
Yeah, just an advantage that was too much to surmount for Moscow 5, and despite being down a player, very well played from BBC, well drafted in both games, although we didn't see too much of the impact of the Bloodseeker here. A couple very nice Blood Rights in some drawn out engagements, and as you mentioned early on, the Snowball clumping things up a little too much, a little too often for Moscow 5. Either way, Necroman never really able to get any traction under his heels, and definitely take advantage of their lead here for BBC. Well played from them. 2-0. They move on in the lower bracket of SLTV Pro Series Season 11. I'll have a bracket up for you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining us. We are HeflaTV. You can follow me at MRP_Dota. You can follow Mike Loris at Mike Loris in your stream title. Mike, any last thoughts on the series?
And it was hard to top that second game, but 4v5, after an impressive display of both Meepo and Broodmother, BBC, they never failed to impress, and Pili Dai standing in did a pretty good job as well. And well, Moscow 5, they didn't play too terribly in the second game, but it just wasn't good enough. It just seemed like they were outclassed.
Yeah, BBC, well played to them. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll have some more Dota for you tomorrow, 17 CET. Once again, SLTV Pro Series begins tomorrow. I'll have the matchups for you quick. It will be Mineski versus King at 13 CET is our first game tomorrow, so be sure to check that out with Coucher over on HeflaTV 1. Once again, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you soon. And this is MRP and Mike Loris signing out.